Hello, and welcome to The Fail. Before we get started on episode 127 of the Epic Fail podcast, I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Patreons, all of our subs, and all of our donators. First off on Patreon, our catastrophic fail, Norman the Turtle. Our epic fail, Craig. Our deliberate fails, Joseph, David, Mickey, Cuddles, and Flashgoth. And our Twitch subs, Draven Dresden, Jamie Joy, Galvanid, and Gang Theory. Thank you so much for allowing us to fail.
Warning, this show may contain mature language and is not suitable for small children, pets, or blood elves.
You're now listening to the Epic Fail podcast.
Mal. I don't know. Welcome to 127, our BlizzCon 2017 recap episode. We thought we'd just get it out of the way now instead of waiting till next week because it seemed like a good idea. I don't know. I mean, other than the whole timing with, Muse, but whatever. I am the host, Draven Dresden. With me, as always, for now, I don't know. Whatever. Canada land, all that fun stuff. Scarlett, how are you doing? What have you been up to outside of watching BlizzCon all weekend?
I had to work today, so I only got to watch yesterday. So I didn't watch all weekend. Technically none of the weekend, because yesterday was Friday. But, I digress. I'm good. I've been getting ready. Two more weeks. What? Well, almost 3, but 2.5 weeks. Anyways, I've been playing Overwatch. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone. I have not been playing a lot of WoW because my computer is just... I'm trying to make sure it lasts until I leave because it's any day I'm going to come home and it's not going to turn on. Like, it's just that horrible of a computer right now. But I'm good. I'm trying to think of anything.
So you're playing Overwatch, which requires more system usage of your computer than WoW does.
No, it doesn't. Overwatch, I get 35 FPS straight. On WoW, I dip down to 18, 19. It's so weird. And Diablo, I can play. Diablo starts to lag my CPU after about an hour, but I can play it some. But I mean, I can play WoW. I just can't raid, but I like raiding. So WoW's not fun if I can't raid. Even though there's other stuff to do, I log on, I check my order hall, and then I log off and go play something else. Mostly, I've been playing Hearthstone while watching the BlizzCon stream, or playing Hearthstone while watching Critical Role. I know that's totally different, but it still is, something fun. You guys should watch it. Really should watch it. Yeah, lots of that. I did my placements in Overwatch. I actually ranked higher than last season, but only by 100 SR. So not that big of a deal. I'm still bronze. I'm a bronze player. I'm never going to get out of bronze. I had to report someone the other day because I got play of the game as Junkrat, and then I was told to go do some stuff and things and stuff that I won't repeat. That was very rude when they found out that I was a girl. But anyways, those people can just go die in a fire. But other than that, it's been mostly good. I added a few people on Battle.net, been playing some games. Some people are chill, so that's cool. That's been my week-ish, whatever you call it, thing.
Okay. Well, just for a disclaimer, the views expressed by Scarlett do not necessarily reflect...
What?
You said people could go die in a fire.
Yeah.
Well, you know
you're
what?
Totally banned.
So
They're banned.
she was referring to their character avatars and not the actual people, because
Sure, we'll go with that.
yeah. Anyway, from Florida, assuming Florida's still there, I haven't checked the map recently. Theory, how are you doing?
Yeah, still here. I'm good. Had a pretty strong week. Excited to talk some BlizzCon a little bit later. So since Scarlett's computer is a potato, I have at least temporarily rejoined the fire department as the other tank, probably third tank-ish. So
They missed you, so
No, I actually threw my hat back in. Once I knew you were going to be gone, and Eye Heels, a.k.a. Wade, a.k.a. 17 other names, he has oftentimes he can't be there on Wednesday nights, at least not for the first half of the raid because of his job. So it's really kind of a good thing for them to have a third tank anyway because of that. And there are several people who could tank, but some of them that could tank are also some of the best DPS on the team. Yeah, Draven.
it's
Yeah.
kind of true.
You don't want me to tank anyway. I mean,
Well,
you said yourself, Paladin, not great.
Whatever, you
You-
tank on your DK. Your DK is fine. And Paladin's better than it was. It still sucks, but it's better than it was. But
I heard you guys kicked butt.
Not really. I mean, we're on the same tier that you guys already completed kind of without me. So I don't know if I would call it kicking butt. We cleared.
We got your kill though, so
Yeah. Got my kill?
well, I realize you had it thanks to other teams already, but with like for that, we got your kill on whatever other character you were playing.
I think you might have gotten my kill possibly on my bear, but I'd already gotten it on 3 other characters. So, yeah. 4, actually. Anyway, just played a little bit of Overwatch right before the stream, which we'll talk a little bit why I started to want to play more Overwatch again a little bit later. Very excited to talk
Does
about
it
what
have to do
happened.
with the word candy?
No, because I don't know what you're talking about. But we will see later. It may have something to do with a certain man yelling a lot and then making me cry after he yelled a lot. Yeah, because that.
So yes. Okay, so yes, candy. Okay.
I don't
Candy.
see where candy falls into this, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, again, have not played a lick of Hearthstone. I don't think I've even reinstalled it back on my computer. However, I have reinstalled it on my brand new iPhone 10. So I will probably play it on there
Rats.
very, very soon, which, by the way, is right here. Right here. Notice no home button. There's no button there. So yeah, that was my exciting day yesterday. But anyway. So yeah, Draven, how about you?
This week has literally been BlizzCon prep and BlizzCon and more BlizzCon prep and randomly having to drive my parents to the airport at 3 a.m. so they can catch their flight while I get their dog sit them for 2 weeks. So if you hear weird snoring, there's a dog right behind me and he snores. So
There's a cat right behind me.
I don't know if we can blame that on the dog. It could be other things making noises like that. It's kind of convenient for you to ask us to blame it on the dog. I'm just saying.
well, I could ask you to blame it on the rain, but
You know, I love
Blame it on
that song.
the alcohol.
No,
That's what all the
rain
people at
is
BlizzCon
better.
are doing.
Yeah, that's
'Cause they're
true. But the rain is better.
And I'm jealous. But anyway.
all right. So one way or another, we got to figure out a way for hopefully all 3 of us to go next year.
I agree.
Dude, I'm gonna be going the other way.
The
As in,
only-
I'm moving more east than I already am.
So it's like an extra 20 minutes on an airplane. Who cares? That really makes no difference. Maybe
Cost-wise, it does.
I don't think it will, but
You've
yeah.
never flown
little
to
bit.
Canada.
It'll
Yeah.
change the cost a little bit, but I don't
You
know how
guys-
much.
You guys flying's different though, because the planes are held together by duct tape, and there's birds carrying it all halfway across your continent.
You know what? Mr.
and-
Red Green and his duct tape is amazing. Don't diss that show. And you have no idea what that is, do you?
No, I do know what that is. Where do you think the duct tape comment came from? But I'm kind of surprised you picked up on it. But anyway.
I love Red Green.
I'm with you though, Draven. We should all try to go next year. I definitely want to go. The only problem about next year is there definitely won't be a World of Warcraft expansion announcement next year. And there's a pretty strong argument to be made that the best BlizzCons are the BlizzCons where there's a World of Warcraft expansion announcement.
So we plan for the next one.
So this is my idea. The first one you go to should not be a Warcraft expansion announcement. That way you still have a good / great BlizzCon, but you still have something to look forward to when you want to go back again the next time.
That's a good argument. I'm going to use that because I brought that up to a certain streamer who I also patronize. Certain streamer that I also subscribe to, who's from Florida, who said that he will not be going next year, but he'll go the year after that. And his reason was because there would be no expansion announcement. So I'm going to tell Brutal that he has to go next year for the reasons you just said.
Agreed.
Damn it, Brutal. Because, if Brutal goes, there's a pretty good chance Colt might go. And if I got to meet Coltrane, that would be the highlight of my BlizzCon.
So, speaking of Coltrane, while he may not go to the convention itself, from what I hear, he lives about half an hour away from the convention center now. So he will be stopping at least by the CTR party and such.
Wasn't that
from
last
now
night?
on?
CTR party was last night. Was he there?
He was there.
Damn it.
He was on screen with Cuddles for a good 15-20 minutes.
I actually missed it. Very long day. I was sleeping. And I feel sorry for missing it because I saw it the last 2 years.
I was in the channel and all that, and I ended up winning one of the prizes. It was an Overwatch beanie, which I'm never going to wear. So
you should wear it. Hello. That's awesome.
It was cool. It was nice.
You could cut a hole in the top of it and pull your ponytail through it and let it go out.
I'd have to do that in the back, actually.
Yeah, and you should spike your ponytail out.
Well, I mean, you could technically stick your ponytail up here. You could just do your ponytail up at the top.
I could, or
make it go like this.
I could do what I did. And
you could do the Draenei hairstyle with the
Yeah, turn it into horns that go out like 4 feet. Yeah.
No, the female Draenei have 2 ponytails that go like this.
Why would I dress like a female Draenei?
Well,
Why not?
I've seen lots of things that are stranger at this BlizzCon's cosplay contest.
Yeah. We'll talk about the cosplay contest later too. By the way, grats to the winner. We'll mention you by name later.
Yes.
Flash Goth says no man bun for you, Draven.
Draven's man bun would be so heavy his head would go like this.
It's kind of true.
Unless he's cut all his hair off and hasn't told anyone.
Show us the hair.
Nah, he's hiding it.
I want to start a petition.
So we ready to get this thing on the road? Ready to start talking about things and stuff?
Things and stuff. Okay.
No.
Things.
No?
I want to talk about stuff and things.
Okay, well, more on Draven's hair. Let's see your head now. Okay. No bumpers. We're not going to do bumpers because it all kind of mixes together. First up, Mr. Draven. StarCraft.
Sorry, I was reading chat. Howland, you crack me up.
Sometimes they're handlebar pigtails. Sometimes they're pigtails.
I'm so not touching that.
Damn.
Hey man, just because I know styles of girls' hair means nothing. Anyway.
No, that's not where he was going.
I know where he was going, and I tried to bring it back to a different angle, and it just didn't work.
No, it didn't work. We're having nothing of that, sir.
So I will start it this way then. Mr. Morheim came out on stage, and just like he's done the past couple of BlizzCons, made several comments which were a little bit more political and community related, which were very, very good. I can't help but get the feeling that every time he talks, he's extremely nervous because he has a few tics and things that he does, which, hell, I'd be nervous. So I completely understand that. I mean, I mess up on here, and there's like, however many people watching us, that's a very small fraction of the people that are watching him. So
I think that's part of the reason why he has, I think I counted 7 teleprompters.
At least.
So no matter where
least.
he was looking, he had
Yes.
what he wanted to say.
Yeah, but it wasn't just him. Everybody that was on that stage did. But before that was a really cool kind of little piece that talked a little bit about Warcraft, and from a almost like a family perspective. It showed people who met their significant others through the game. It showed people who, through Blizzard games, got to know their best friends and all kinds of really cool stuff like that. So it was really kind of nice. I will say this, though, as a critique. It was not as cool as the dice thing last year. The dice thing that started it last year, where they showed the D20 dice, and it was all about the history of Blizzard. That thing kicked the intro video's butt compared to this year.
Isn't that the one that released Sombra?
Or
yes
no,
and no. Was that a
Sombra
different
came
video?
after that. It
Okay.
kind of all ran together, but it was right before that part. It was the history of Blizzard, and it started out with the 2 dice on the ground or on the table.
Oh,
And then
gotcha. Yeah,
it showed
yeah.
some of the old pictures of the guys working on the games before anybody knew what Blizzard was, for example. It was very cool. But then, after Morheim's talk, they did a little different format this year, which I thought was very cool. But the first game he talked about, Draven, was...
First game that got mentioned with any news-related stuff was StarCraft.
I think so.
That was weird. And they mentioned that you're gonna get StarCraft 2 for free.
Free to play. Woo! Free to play.
Free to play.
And if you've already bought it, what do you get?
You get Heart of the Swarm. Its first expansion for free.
Yeah.
And both of these are great because
if you've already bought that, what do you get? Nothing.
A smile.
Yes.
But if
You
you've
get more
already
people
bought
to play
it,
with.
you get the pets. You get the pets in WoW if you bought the collector's edition.
But didn't we get that a long time ago?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay,
but
so
just
it was
saying,
just-
you have that, and the people who get the game for free probably aren't getting that.
So you get more people to play the game with.
You could probably do what they do with WoW and be like, I'm just going to upgrade it.
Yeah, but you can't upgrade the old ones. You can only upgrade the current expansion. Like, I can't go back and get, like, Cataclysm Collector's Edition digitally.
Well,
Or can I? Because if I can, I would totally do that, but I
can.
don't think I can.
now,
Okay.
Alessandra just touched on something StarCraft related. Mike Morheim talked about how Intel was doing a really big thing as part of a lead up to, I don't remember if it was the Olympics or what, but a big tournament for StarCraft before something major. And she's asking about that. Do you remember what it was for?
I don't remember the exact details of what he said. I wanted to go back and verify it before the show. I just kind of ran out of time.
I know
doing
it was
everything else.
Intel sponsored, but it
Yeah,
was supposed to be big.
it was something Olympics related. It sounded like they're going to have like maybe not this upcoming Olympics, but sometime soon, an esports
That'd be cool.
event at the Olympics,
Yeah.
because I think everyone is
What?
realizing this is an actual thing. This actually takes discipline.
When is the Olympics?
Every 4 years.
The
Correct,
next
but when's the
summer-
next one? 18 or 20?
Which one was what did we just do?
I don't know.
I think it was 16. I think the
winter-
next one is 20.
I
for
think
summer.
Yeah, I think summer is.
I think you're
20.
probably right. It's definitely 20, but I don't know if it's summer or winter.
It would be summer.
Because they do it like
Either
every
way-
2 now instead of every 4.
Yeah, either way, it sounds like StarCraft is at least the basis of whatever it sounds like an esports event.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
that's the case, well, there's another thing Korea is going to get points for.
Well, hey, that's all right. We just have to get better. And if
Hey, there's
Overwatch
some
has
really-
anything to do with it later on, we might be all right. But we'll talk about more about that later. Draven doesn't want to say anything.
No, I don't want to go.
Winter's next year, and then 2020 is summer.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's every 2 years because I know that the winter and the summer are 2 years apart now, but that
Oh,
changed
gotcha.
like 20 years
It
ago or
alternates.
something. Yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. Hopefully, we get more information, before 2020, which is when we're expecting it. I would actually, it could even be a Winter Olympic thing because they're indoors.
Now,
Who knows?
Didn't he also say something about a new co-op commander or something like that too?
Yeah, so along with going free to play for StarCraft 2, all the co-op commanders that they've been having put out that you have had to pay for, you're getting all of them for free up to level 5.
And then
So,
what, you pay for after level 5? I'm confused.
Yeah, basically here's a taste. If you like it, you have to pay for it.
That's cool. I mean, I'm a fan of that. That works with Heroes of the Storm. I mean, they give the free characters out so you can try them and see if you like them, and then you got to buy them one way or another in order to get them. So it makes sense to me. It's a good plan.
Yeah. And getting back to the Olympics thing, chat is telling us that 2018 Olympics, the Winter Olympics, are in Korea. So it makes perfect sense that it would be Winter Olympics esports.
Yep, it actually does. And yeah, that's like the perfect tie-in. All right. So
none of us guessed StarCraft, right? Because
I
no
don't
one
think
guessed
we
free to
guessed.
play.
We
No,
didn't
we
guess
didn't say
really
free to play.
StarCraft
We
either.
did. Yeah, I honestly said there wasn't going to be much of anything
I
outside
said
of the
something, but I
esports.
think it was minor. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so none of us got that right. So 0 points to all on that one.
Yep. And then we got to talk a little bit about Heroes of the Storm. And we got to see a cool video.
And I'm currently ahead on points thanks to Heroes of the Storm. Thank you very much.
Are you really, though?
Yes, because you guessed 4 and none of them are right. And
of which
Scarlet-
heroes? But I did say there'd be new heroes and a new map.
Well,
I think we all kind of agreed on that, though.
We said there was going to be new heroes. Fine, you get a point because you guessed hero. Scarlet, you get a point because you also said the word hero.
I don't care about points. I'm just saying
I'm
in
just saying.
general, we all agreed
We
on
all
a
said there'd be new
hero map.
heroes.
But I'm saying I'm ahead because I actually named 2 heroes that were there.
Well,
I actually said Alex Straza and Hanzo.
To be fair, they were also leaked multiple days before BlizzCon, so it wasn't really a huge surprise. I will say the video was impressive. I liked the little video for it. It's not an edition that makes me want to play it. I still want to play it because
Alex Straza is on my list of I'd like to play. Hanzo, from what I've heard, still needs some work.
I want all the Hanzo mains to go to HOTS.
I don't.
I do.
Well, good for you. I want them. I want all the Hanzo mains to go to Hearthstone. So
Yeah, that's the way.
he'll be the new hunter class.
That's
So,
okay.
what else
Andrew.
new or what else different did they actually talk about for HOTS?
Well, that's really the big thing. I mean, they're doing some updates to like the stealth system, so they're not like, oh, I can't see them because they're almost nearly invisible. Now they're literally stealth, and if they stand still, that's when they're invisible. But I mean, they're updating stuff. But the big thing was 2 new heroes, no new maps at the moment, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Because there's 14 of them.
Although,
And just system updates like MMR fixes, stuff like that. Like finally it's going to be, if you do you pick Kerrigan, you do what Kerrigan's supposed to do and you do it well. If your team loses, you lose less points because you actually did your job right.
yeah. And there's mechanical changes like stealth changes. So there's little tweaks here and there.
Didn't I say pathing too was being fixed a bit?
Yeah, and AI, talked a little bit about AI being
AI is getting smarter, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. But then, when they were done talking about HOTS, and I got to be honest with you, up to this point, I was not really super impressed. The video was okay for HOTS, but I was kind of having let down. And then
I saw the feet and I was like, is that
the feet.
holy crap?
You were looking at people's feet.
The video, like the first thing you saw of the characters were their feet running by. You didn't see who they were, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, because I was like, okay, maybe that's not Alexstrasza. And then I saw the other one, the second set, and I was like, that's 100% Hanzo.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's Alexstrasza Hanzo. And then they showed it, and she was in human form. I was like, oh man.
Well,
And then she jumped off the side of the pathway and eventually just jumped back up as a dragon. I was like, it's about time, dragon!
tell me you didn't see that coming.
I wasn't sure they were going to do actual dragon because Chromie didn't get actual dragon. And
Yeah,
she's
but everybody
supposed-
complained about it, so of course Alexstrasza
Yeah.
gets dragon.
But they kept saying dragons are just too big. So
Well, apparently not.
it's a limited time
Figured it
cooldown. It's not a
out.
permanent thing. So I think from what I've seen of it, it's going to work okay.
Imagine if you had like a little dragon running around. That would be adorable.
They should make Chromie turn into like one of them little mini
Yes.
chromatic whelps.
Except that when she actually turns into a dragon, she's a full-size dragon.
It'd still be funny. So then, after the cool video-ish for HOTS, they started their new thing, which was instead of staying on the same stage, they threw it over to another stage. And
Well, okay, so before we move on, but past that,
Come
what
on,
did you guys
David.
think of that?
it was boring.
No, not the HOTS thing. The fact that they were jumping stage to stage based on their games.
I liked it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a way for them to have the opening ceremonies spread out amongst the entire hall instead of
Yeah.
trying to cram everyone that's there into one area at the same time. Logistically, it's a win.
Yeah, it turned into show up to the area of the game you want to see the announcement for.
Right.
And I was like, why didn't they think of this sooner?
Yeah. It totally makes a lot of sense. You have that many people there. I don't know why they haven't done that before. It was great. But when they threw it to the Hearthstone stage, that stage looked amazing. Amazing. Way better than it did before. And
I love the in look that they keep doing.
Yeah, and Ben Brode completely took it from about a 3 to about a 7 with his talk and his little I'm a dungeon master and you must come with me in order to show you cool stuff about what he announced.
So, did you get the parallel that was there, which is amazing? You probably did not.
Tell us about it.
So, the song that introduced the expansion for Hearthstone was sang by Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer is the dungeon master for Critical Role, which is an amazing D&D game. And then he's also the voice actor for Rexar and a whole bunch of other stuff. But anyway,
Ragnaros and Heroes, a lot
Ragnaros
of
in Hearthstone too. He's a whole bunch of different stuff. I think he is a couple orcs. But so
this episode
they-
brought to you
it
by
was a-
Critical Role.
it was no, that's honestly I'm saying it was totally meta-ing Critical Role
Yeah.
and dungeoning, which is amazing. Oh yeah, he's also McCree. Duh, I knew that.
So Alexander just said that Ben Brode is a 9, and I would agree. He brought the actual start of BlizzCon from, for me, about a 3 to about a 7. Because as you know, if you've ever watched our podcast, I stopped playing Hearthstone a long time ago. So the fact that I enjoyed the Hearthstone segment at all says an awful lot.
So
Yep.
you stopped mostly before I did. I completely stopped after that, but I still like the expansion announcements and stuff like that. And this to me was really cool. I love that they left it up to the fans, probably, because they set it up, like you said, the dungeon crawl thing, where here's this totally safe path that you could take, or here's this really dangerous, someone's going to die path. And you had to know that people were going to pick
Everything's on fire.
Everything's on fire. This door is marked certain death.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course, people are going to pick that one.
I think they knew what people were going to pick, but I do feel like it was set up in a way where you were ultimately going to get the cards they wanted to show you anyway. And they would show you the other ones if it didn't happen later on anyway. So it was good. The golden legendary card, what did you guys think of that?
So we all said pirates, that it was
0
going to be an
points.
expansion. Correct. So my point is, how are we not noticing that he looks like an Indiana Jones type dude instead of a pirate? He doesn't look like a pirate.
Well, my basis of pirates wasn't just that look, because I really didn't pay too much attention to it. It was more of the clues that we got, which was treasure, plunder, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I was like, well, clearly pirates. And then we got
Kobolds and
Well,
candles.
the funny thing is, realistically, when you kind of look back on it with hindsight, part of the reason we were thinking it was pirates is there was all this talk of WoW being South Seas, and we almost every time we're talking about Hearthstone try to think that Hearthstone is going to stick with WoW, and then it never usually does, which we're why
It
we're always
doesn't.
wrong.
It never
But
does.
In this case,
Stop it.
it actually does, because of another announcement that we're going to talk about a little bit
true.
later, having to do with Warcraft. So
That's true.
it totally makes sense. We just didn't have the other piece in order for it to make sense until later. So, anything else you want to talk about Hearthstone?
Yes.
Go.
By the way, it's Matt Mercer singing the intro song. Just saying.
I think you said that already, but we got to go.
Like twice.
That was what I wanted to say again.
Can I say real quick that I was a little let down that Ben Bro didn't bust into a rap like into the middle of the song?
Okay, but do you
Actually, go ahead.
do you know he was the voiceover announcer for all the stuff the rest of the day and today as well?
No,
He
you know why?
was,
Because
like
I
the-
didn't watch any of the other Hearthstone stuff.
No. I mean, in general, the voice. So, like for the costume contest, he was the person saying the names of the people as they came through the stage, etc.
No, I didn't pick up on that.
And then, yeah, it was all Ben Brode. And then, today I only got to see part of it because the stream cut out, and then we started the podcast. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so they hosted a trivia show for Hearthstone today, and it was like Jeopardy. No, sorry, it was like Family Feud. They basically got two people from the audience who turned out to be like a couple that have been dating for forever, and they put one on each side, and then they put 3 streamers each with the people, and then they had all these Hearthstone trivia questions. I don't know who won because I haven't finished watching it, but it was pretty funny. So there was Orange, Toast, and Hafu on one side, and there was Day 9, Savitz, and Trump on the other side. It was pretty hysterical. It was pretty funny. So you guys should check that out. I'm sure the video is uploaded now. When I was watching it, it was only half uploaded, so that's why it cut out. But the trivia, it was a comedy relief, and Ben Brode was the I don't know, what do you call the person, the person who's directing the game? But anyways, you guys should watch it on the VOD.
The announcer.
Yes. It's funny.
Okay, so then after the Hearthstone talk was done from the initial announcement, they threw it over to my man J-Cap at the Overwatch Arena. And let me just say, J-Cap dropped like 4 or 5 insults during his initial speech.
It's
I wouldn't
awesome.
say insults. I'd say he was memeing it up. I wouldn't
He
say he was
talked about how
insulting.
people didn't know what the payload was. Dude.
And the Hanzo mains.
Oh, man.
Hanzo main.
But-
There, was it? I don't think it was the opening ceremonies, but it was, never mind. Different thing. Go ahead.
I was
you
highly
all-
impressed with him.
Do you also know why he was mentioning the payload joke, though? Because they had a Carbot Studios panel today.
Mm-hmm.
And Carbot Studios is the ones who did that animation for Zenyatta when Zenyatta is saying the payload, payload, payload.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily why. It's a pretty wide joke that people don't actually ever get on the
True.
payload. But, I mean, yeah. It was great. His talk was great. He was funny. The Overwatch, area looked amazing. And then come little Reinhardt man. with the most powerful
even
voice
before
ever.
that,
Darren DePaul.
even before that though, when they announced the new character.
Oh yeah, I missed that whole part because I just didn't care. No, I'm just kidding. So
So
tell us about the new character.
Name's Moira, and it's a healer DPS character hybrid thing. I think you can switch back and forth.
It
Either that or
looks
it's like energy.
awesome.
It looks really cool from what I've seen and from everyone I've talked to. The fact that Kaplan said you spell her name OPAF.
Yes, that was another one of the things that I couldn't believe you got away with saying.
I know. From what I've been hearing, that's accurate. If you're halfway decent at the game, which means I shouldn't touch her because I'll be terrible. But so that was kind of a running joke there for some of the chats that I was in. It was really funny. And then Reinhardt voice, Darren DePaul. And this is where the candy thing came out that I was trying to get with you. Because he came out and he was literally candy, throwing candy out to the crowd.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. He was throwing candy.
Yeah. And then he handed Kaplan some candy.
Yeah, he came out in a tuxedo, like he just drank 5 or 6 Red Bulls, fired up, running across the stage, throwing candy at people, doing all of his lines. It was awesome. And then he kind of made a talk about how Overwatch had all these really cool cinematics and that, they probably should have a Reinhardt one.
So I think we all agreed probably a new hero would be announced. So that's 1 point to each of us.
Yeah.
I mentioned cinematic, so there's another point for me. I think I even named Reinhardt specifically.
I remember
I won't give myself
talking about it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I won't give myself a point for that because I'm not sure.
I think you did say it, and I'm pretty sure I said I hoped that would happen, but that I didn't think it would happen.
Yeah.
But this is a quick screenshot from it. This is old man Reinhardt looking at his Overwatch coin. I gotta say, their team, pretty damn good. Again, one of their cinematics had a ton of emotion involved. If you've ever played a tank for even a little while in any game, this actual cinematic will kind of reach out to you a little bit more, just because of how it went. I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it because it was awesome. And I think that this one's probably neck and neck with the Bastion one for the best one so far, in my opinion.
I may have cried.
I teared up. Draven's laughing at the chat. Okay.
Yeah. It was sad. I thought it was more emotional than the May one because at least he was reacting based on actual people and not his freaking iPhone dying. I'm sorry.
Hey, her iPhone floats and helps kill people.
I don't care. Yeah.
I'd want to have that one.
I'm still sore about that. Everyone's making a big deal because Snowball gave himself.
Well,
no, shut up.
Honestly,
it's a machine.
Hers was good. May's was good and made me actually hate May just a little bit less. But hers wasn't as good as Bastion's. Bastion's was far better than May's. In my opinion.
I mean, in terms of cinematic, the May thing was fine. I'm bashing it simply because of my hatred of May entirely. In and of itself, it wasn't horrible. This one was better, though.
May's not bad.
She's the Overwatch devil.
No, she's not.
So in the cinematic though, this is younger Reinhardt.
He's cute.
They did a good job. He was very, very good, and Draven is muted.
My mouse. Is it just me? If you put that picture back up for a second, Theory.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Whoa, wrong one. And there you go.
Okay. Now, give him his second eye back and all that. Is it just me, or if you've seen the movie Shrek and Prince Charming in Shrek?
No.
I can see the resemblance. A little bit.
I mean, they're not identical, but
they also don't have the same mannerisms or talk the same or have any of the same
but they do
personality.
they do look similar.
Yeah, there's a little bit of resemblance there.
He doesn't look like Lord Farquaad or Fuckwad or whatever his name was.
You just added an editing point. Yay, Draven has to edit stuff. I think he resembles him a little.
I don't think so.
I kind of earned that one with the comment, but I still think that there's a decent enough resemblance that it bared mentioning.
So we did talk about new heroes for Overwatch, but what else did we talk about for Overwatch?
I said a new healer, by the way.
Yes, so you get an extra point. You get an extra point. We mentioned map. None of us guessed the map.
Guess the map, no, but we all said there'd be a map.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I said a healer made sense too. After you said
We
it,
all
of
said
course.
yeah, we all said healer. I was like, that's the only thing it can be. They needed another one.
But
the map.
This Blizzard World thing is crazy awesome. Is the best way I can describe it. Like, so
Can we have Can we have it in real life?
Exactly.
can we have a real Blizzard World?
I would totally pay tickets to go to that, where I would probably care less to go to like the other types of parks nowadays.
And I think it's kind of funny that they tied it in with the quote unquote theme park across the street without actually saying what theme park it was, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. So Scarlett and I were in voice chat for the opening ceremony. And she had to leave shortly after, but
My brother called, that's why I had to leave.
But so we're in there talking back and forth, and as soon as Kaplan's like, "Who's going to the amusement park across the street?" And I'm like, why are you bringing it up? That's in my head, but out loud I said, he can't name it by name. He's not allowed.
Yeah. Totally was not allowed to call it Disney.
Yeah, and so that was cool. That was funny. But I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And then that happened. I was like, what?
And then in voice chat, I was like, is that real?
You were like, what game is this for? What is it? I was like, it's clearly an Overwatch map because it's the Overwatch art.
What you're missing is that new IP that they're putting together is actually Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's Blizzard World Tycoon, and you have to design
I would play
your
that
own Blizzard theme park on your portable device.
I hate those kind of games. I would play that.
I think everybody would, but I totally don't think they would do that. But they'd probably make a lot of money if they did.
Yep. And then
their new IP is secretly a theme park.
It's a real life theme park.
Blizzard World Tycoon is what it is. Quote me.
And Howland brought it up. It wasn't in the opening ceremonies, I don't think. I think it was shortly after. They are doing new skins that are Blizzard like meta.
Really?
Skins like in Heroes. Nova, the StarCraft sniper, has a Widowmaker skin. So what did they give Widowmaker in Overwatch? A freaking Nova skin.
That's kind of cool crossover.
Yeah, Roadhog.
I thought
for sure they were going to give Roadhog the stitches because they both have the hooks that you fling. No, they gave him the Butcher.
But
which
the
also
Butcher
makes sense.
looks cool.
It looks cool. It also makes sense based on the Diablo and not the Heroes. Yeah. So I understand that. Torbjorn got Magni Bronzebeard.
That makes sense, except for the
free
fact
diamond
that
skin.
There's already Magni in Heroes.
Well, Torbjorn is in Overwatch, so they gave him. Basically, they just took other skins from other games and said, "Who would look good in this?" Boom, and then they gave Reinhardt the young skin. I kind of want the. Well, I guess he does have the old skin, so never mind. They gave Reinhardt the younger Reinhardt skin, so that was kind of cool too.
That is neat. But now they need to give him the other guy's skin, his general guy.
Yeah. And then things that I noticed during the map reveal, Snacks Ramus. I was like, that was great.
They need to have a
Snacks Ramus with the S in front of it.
They should have a Snacks Ramus t-shirt. They could make a whole line of Blizzard World shirts and people would buy them.
That would be
just like, remember the old Merlocos shirt?
Yeah.
How popular that was?
Outside of the map, which is Blizzard World, and then obviously the hero and stuff like that. The biggest news that we got out of Hearthstone, or not Hearthstone, out of Overwatch. I'm just all today apparently. It's
What are
not.
you?
It's not an event. All this stuff are going to be in the normal loot boxes from now on. So it's not a limited time. You have 2 weeks to get it, and after that, nope. It's you'll get it eventually, probably. And I would imagine the drop rate on them are going to be slightly higher just because.
Yeah.
At least for a little while, anyway.
That makes sense. So, then after that, we went.
So BlizzCon, blah blah blah, and everyone's like, "Top this." WoW shows up. Hold my beer.
Pretty much, but he even said in the very beginning, "Thank you for making me follow that," because of how good that cinematic was. What's this guy's name? I can never remember. It's like when you talk about WoW, he's the other guy. Like, you can name off all these people,
Ian,
and it's the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
It's
never
not
remember
Ian.
his
It's the other guy. I can't remember his name either, but he's one of the high ups.
name. Right.
Alessander, I'm sure you
Like
know
there's
who it is.
Asfarabi, which I never say his name right. There's Ian.
Yeah.
There's Lore.
Ian.
There's I can name off a whole bunch of other people, but this guy is always the other guy. But he came out, took the stage, and literally took something that no one expected and just dropped the mic.
So yeah, yeah. I don't understand. Like he was going through, and all of a sudden he's like, "I want to talk about ice cream,"
Yes.
and I'm like, "What?" And then he's like, "My favorite flavor," and I was like, "Oh God!" Right then, I knew exactly where it was going. Oh, how? What? He did say it was going to take a while, but we're getting classic. He named it classic, not vanilla. We're going to get classic servers.
It's World of Warcraft Classic. And he
And
said
then
it is servers, so there's more detail to come, but that kind of seems like it will still be subscription based, which some of the people who've been playing Classic on private servers won't be real happy with that. Other people were already paying some type of sub, so it won't really matter. But ultimately, this is the thing that we said way back when they should figure out a way to do when we were discussing it a year and a half ago or whatever, when people were all up in arms about it.
Yeah, and it sounds like they figure it out, at least the start of it.
He made a joke about people who bought their server blades and how they may have to give them back, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Nobody else really
And
seen that was funny, but I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny. My brain instantly, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I wonder how many they're going to get in the mail saying you can borrow it.
I don't think though.
He wasn't serious. That
Yeah.
No, but that would probably help their work considerably.
Well, first off, they would only need one. Second off, I'm pretty sure they still have one because they would have kept one at least, if not multiple.
Yeah.
So I think that was a joke. And I'm sure that the new servers will not be on the same type of blades because they can run the same old software on the new ones just fine. They are talking about it's going to take a while because there's things they still need to do to make it work right. And there's still some bugs that they just can't have in there because if you do something like you used to be able to do and completely shut down the server because of a glitch, that's not okay. So things like that they have to fix. But so it's not going to be the same. So I don't really see it being an issue.
Yeah. Which version of
meeting
Classic do
servers.
we get?
Right.
My biggest question outside of, is this going to cost extra for the regular subs? I don't think it would. It wouldn't make sense to me.
I don't think so.
I think
Things
since he
like-
said it was a server, it may be something where you could pay less per month and only get access to Classic. Like maybe only pay $10 a month and get only Classic servers. But I don't see it costing more.
Yeah. But my biggest question is going to be related to things like the opening of AQ when that happens.
I have a feeling that it will be all of the content up until BC. And it may be time gated a little bit. So it'll have like a patch cycle, but then it will literally stop at the last patch before BC hit and stay there.
Yeah. But
I have another question.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead and I'll ask mine after.
Well, no, like I was just going to ask, since almost everything is server wide now, titles and mounts and stuff like that, if I were to get onto that particular server and for whatever reason I managed to con my way into getting the Scarab Lord title on that server, assuming it's possible, I'm hoping they remove it, to be honest.
I don't think that those...
Do I get it on every server?
I don't think that those servers will be included in your quote-unquote account-wide stuff. I think that would be totally separate.
I'm hoping that it's separate. I'm also hoping that that kind of thing is not in the game. Opening it up, making the requirements to open it up a little lower, fine. But having the Scarab Lord title and having the Black Mount, I think, should not be put in the game based solely on we know what people are like now. Someone will screw everyone over because that's what happened in the first place.
Well, I think we're dropping a few frames, so if you're watching live, I apologize for that. However, I think what will happen is it will be a situation where the vanilla, quote-unquote, classic servers are linked, but they are not linked to any of the rest of the servers. So if you get Scarab Lord on one of those servers, you'll have it on the other classic servers, but it won't transfer over to the other ones. I don't think they'll take it out. I just don't think anything you do will transfer account-wise to what you've done on the regular servers. And the reason is this. Part of the draw to Classic WoW is the fact that it's a grind. So getting to level 40 before you can buy a mount, hoping that you have the 3 or 4 gold in order to buy a mount when you get to level 40, those are part of that experience. And if all of a sudden you bring in a character that already has 270 mounts or something, and you're doing the same thing, it's not going to be the same experience that you had before. Which is going to totally water that down for the people who want a classic vanilla experience. So I'm not thinking
the server crossover thing will go both ways. I'm thinking if Scarab Lord on classic, okay, now I have that title and mount on the main. I don't think having the 300 and some odd thousand mounts that I have on the regular servers, I don't think those are going to transfer over because that'd be stupid. Now, admittedly, I earned all of the Paladin and Warlock mounts the old way, which you had to back then, which was buy the materials, get a group together, do the dungeon, etc., and so forth. That's how I got them. I didn't get handed them at all. So I could understand those possibly, but I think I'm going to have fun when a lot of the people are going to be all, I'm level 20, where's my mount? Or I want to use my chauffeur mount at level 1, and those aren't going to be there.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. What were you going to say, Scarlett?
My question is it going to be updated or is it going to be old graphics?
I think it's
old character customization screen, etc., all of that, because if it is, I don't think as many people will play it as they think.
I think what it's going to be is the new graphics attached to the old systems, old quests, that kind of thing.
I think it'll be a mix of both. I mean, the things that are available now that weren't available then will not be available. So, like, for example,
I could see Dungeon Finder still showing.
I don't think they'll do that because that changes the way the game plays. Anything that changed the way the game plays, I don't think they'll put into it. Things that make the game work, I do think they'll put in. So the stability changes they've made, the bug fixes that they've made, that kind of thing, I do think they'll put in. A lot of the quality of life stuff that they've put in, like Group Finder, I do not think they'll put in because that changes the way the game plays. And a lot of the hardcore people that want Classic, although they may say that they don't want it, and they might really understand why they really do want it, once they do it the other way enough, which will bring them back to the other server. Long story short, they're not going to want it in the game from a conversational standpoint because that's not how it was for Classic.
So. That's what.
Which tells me that my character on that server, should I make one at all, is going to be a tank.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to want to stand in town for 6 hours trying to get a group for the dungeon.
Yeah, tank or healer. Yeah, it'll be very interesting for that. But I mean, like I said, I don't think anybody was really expecting that announcement. There was really no talk of it. It was just swept under the rug. Even some of the major streamers like Asmongold, when they were talking about it, said that they didn't think they were going to hear anything about it at all. And then they mic dropped it. So that was pretty cool. And I agree with Howland. Anyone who really wants it's going to make a tune. They're going to play for a little bit, and then they're going to jump back to their regular tune. And what might be cool, and what might be the positive thing about it is if they get bored with live servers, they'll go play their classic tune. So they're really not leaving WoW. They're not leaving the systems. They can still talk to their friends, but it gives them something else to do.
So I was thinking about it, and I heard some other people talking about the classic server, about when it would drop and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm thinking it'll probably be at the end, maybe not at the end of this raid coming up, but at the end of an expansion. So they did say it's going to be a while. So maybe at the end of next expansion, when there's that lull and there's nothing to do except wait. Boom! Here's classic servers. Have fun, still playing our game. That kind of thing. Great time to do it would be in the middle of when there's nothing really to do.
Yeah. Our chat was talking about how there was populated rogue servers and the lack of DPS versus tanks and heals. That stuff, it's not just because you didn't have enough people. It was just because it was harder to find groups if you weren't a tank or a healer. And it's because there was standards, quote unquote, for DPS. And the tanks and healers, it really didn't matter if you were that good to get into the group. You might get kicked. But getting into the group, you just had to be a tank or a healer. But anyway, ultimately, it's a matter of having to spend a lot of time in trade chat. But after that, things got better. And at this point, I think it was moving from about an 8 to a 9, maybe a 9.5, because they started talking about a new expansion. And did anybody, you know how we call Mists of Pandaria Mop? Cataclysm was just called Cata. Warlords was just really called Warlords. Could have been, a lot of people called it WAD, but they didn't really want you to call it WAD.
I heard a lot of people just say it was a waste of time.
That's another good way of saying it.
Yeah.
And then now Legion is just one word, so it's Legion. Nobody really tries to change that. But Battle for Azeroth, BFA.
I think it's just going to be called Battle.
No? Anyway. So
that's funny.
So then as they were talking about it, they talk about what it's going to be and everything's all cool and we're going to go to these islands and we're going to basically be separate and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going to go down and, oh, by the way, we have a cinematic. Way early.
Well, 2 cinematics, actually. We got the feature cinematic right off the bat, which had Jaina.
Well, technically, that's not even really a cinematic. That's basically an in-game video.
Yeah, that was showing some stuff, but it was technically it was cinematic-y. It gave it, just this is what's coming, this next expansion, etc. But it had Jaina. She was not a Dreadlord.
Did you notice what she did have?
Hair?
Yes, I want that braid. But other than that, she's got boobs now. Like, giant boobs.
So we all know what Scarlet was looking at during the...
I honestly didn't notice. I was too busy looking at her, be like, she looks like the stuff that I've seen, like, from my niece with Frozen.
She doesn't look like Frozen.
Not at all.
This is how much I know about that movie. From my niece, that's it.
So one of the things they talked about is that we're going to see a little bit more from this person who looks a little bit different now.
See? Look at the boobage.
I guess. I think it's just what she's wearing. She's wearing one of those old-timey make you not be able to breathe things. What are those called?
Yep.
I don't know what those are called.
Corset.
Yes. I think they dressed her up in some like 1930s, 20s stuff. 1800 stuff. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know how I feel about the new Jaina because at the same time she's got like metal gloves on, metal fingers holding her staff. And her stripe is now gold and the rest of her hair is white.
It's been like that for a while.
Yeah, but not the same tint. I don't know. Maybe this is just a bad picture,
It's just updating the view. I mean, they do that every expansion with everyone who's gonna play a role.
Yeah. Anyway, talked about that. Talked about not a whole lot of her story because that's going to be things that we're going to find out later. Golf Pro just said she's preggers. But
It'll be Sarge Harris's kid.
Oh, don't say that. We already went through that once.
That was funny. But then it got pretty crazy in the real cinematic. I'm going to pull up a couple of pictures. These will not really be in order, so if you should go watch The Thing. If you haven't watched The Thing, it was amazing. One we used for our picture. If you're watching the video, you already kind of saw this one. But yeah, Anduin is officially Manduin. We made jokes about it before, but this was definitely a coming of age type video. So
I
thought that was
like
pretty
him.
cool. And Draven pointed something out, which I didn't realize, but he's totally right. There's an actor who he very much resembles. What's this guy's name, Draven?
Nick Stahl. I first found him via a movie a long time ago called Disturbing Behavior. Not very good. Don't worry about it. Terminator 3, I believe he was in. He's been in some other stuff too, but that's where I primarily know him, is from movies and stuff. And I was like, if I would have been there, my question if I would have got there, I would have been like, did you guys realize you based it off of this dude, or is that just coincidence, or what? Because I saw that and I was like, that's totally that dude I know, who I didn't know his name, so I had to literally look up the movies that I knew he was in, and like, oh, okay, it's him.
Now, online, there was a lot of jokes about how he looked like Brad Pitt, and I could kind of see that too. If you took Brad Pitt and this Nick Stahl guy and mushed them together, that's like pretty much exactly what Manduin looks like. But yeah, that was not the coolest part, although it was close. Without ruining it too much, there's some things that are going to be changing. They showed this picture at some point. If you don't know what that is, that's the tree. Teldrassil, is that how you say it?
So,
The Night Elf starting zone.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I thought that world tree was holding everything together.
That's not the
I
world
swear
tree.
I thought the world tree was in Teldrassil. I thought the whole city, the city is in the tree. The tree is like the giant thing in Hajjah.
So what got burnt there is the Night Elf. Yeah, the Night Elf starting zone, basically. Everything there is in the tree. It's a giant tree coming out of the ocean. There's a little bit of an island around it, blah, blah, blah. But the tree you're thinking about is over in Hyjal.
Yeah.
Right, that's Nordrassil. Never mind.
Right. See,
Gotcha.
I didn't remember my actual lore enough to do it.
I
but,
didn't
Your tree
either.
names.
But yeah, so like that happened, and the counter to that is where these other pictures are coming from, which is we don't know for sure which one of them happened first. One of these may have been retaliatory, but the Horde killed the Draenei tree. Not Draenei tree, the Night Elf tree. And we attack Lordaeron. And Sylvanas is there, looking amazing, trying to actually...
She looks hot.
I'm not going to argue with that. And I've never really felt that way before, but I'm not going to argue with that. And she did something which I didn't know she could do. And it was explained to me. What were you going to say? Draven?
Well, I was just going to say she does have a title besides War Chief.
Well, and Arthas turned her into that before. She was that trapped for a long time by Arthas, and then she reclaimed herself.
She's the Banshee Queen, and she went full Banshee. And when she
You never go full Banshee.
When she went full Banshee, she killed a whole lot of people. You'll see it if you didn't watch it yet. And then when she did that, Mandoin had a little bit of a breakdown. And that's where the other picture comes from that we used. Where, believe it or not, during the Q&A, someone asked if Mandoin was a paladin. Because in the thing, he was swinging a sword. And he had this really, really kick-ass helmet with a lion face that I really want to be in game. And I know it won't be, but I really want that to be in game. And he looked very like either warrior or paladin-y or maybe even Death Knight look, because it was some serious plate he had on. You can see it in the picture. He's got like plate shoulders and plate, whatever. So someone said, hey, is he a paladin, in the Q&A later on? And they said, no, he's a priest. So after she goes full Banshee, he drops the sword of his father after looking at it and contemplating whether or not that was something that he was going to continue to try to do, or if he was going to reach down inside of his true self, which is a priest, and do something else. And then he did what we all wish we could do when we wipe, and that was a mass battle res, and brought all of his people, including a very, very well graphically made Glenn Greymane? Yeah. Which looked totally, Glenn Greymane. He looked totally fuzzy and scruffable and cuddly. And he
but
brought them all
not
back.
cuddly.
Totally look cuddly. Just want to scruff his face. But he brought them all back from near death, and then they decided to go at it some more.
So I don't think it was an actual mass res. I think they were hurt, and all it was okay, here is, as Chad is telling us, it's a priest ability, power word barrier. It's one of the cooldowns priests have.
That's what I thought it was.
And it was just basically, it just pushed all the enemies out for some reason. It doesn't do that in game, but whatever. And it just gave them time to basically heal themselves back up, which is what it does in game. And okay, let's go.
And don't you guys remember doing the Valen scenario? And I'm sorry for interrupting, but don't you guys remember the Valen scenario? That's what he does. He sticks you in a bubble.
I get it, but there was many of these characters that had been down on the ground for a while. So a power word shield / power word barrier doesn't heal you.
Okay, but assuming that there are tanks and DPS and healers in the army, just to simplify it, I would imagine there are also healers all around, so they're probably throwing heals out and it's helping everyone get up. So it would make sense. I mean, it does look like it's a mass res, but I don't think that's what it was. I think it was just more of a buy time for our so-called healers to heal them back up so they get up. Okay, let's go again.
I like Golf Pro's comment that they are now all Death Knights. And he just rezzed them all, and they were all Death Knights. But no,
that would be hysterical.
You're probably right.
He's the new Lich King.
But that's not how it looks to me. It looked more like a battle mass res to me than a power word barrier. But like they said in the Q&A, hero characters have the ability to do things that normal characters don't.
That's true.
And yet we are considered the heroes of Azeroth. So why don't we get to do all these cool things that they can't?
Someone lied to you.
I think since we're
blame Varian.
Heroes, we're just like getting a pat on the back so we go do our job better.
Exactly. How you tell all your people that you work with or work for you, they're doing a great job.
Exactly.
So that they'll keep doing a mediocre job and you don't have to fire them. Did I say that out loud? Anyway.
No, not at all.
No.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what did you guys think of the cinematic itself? We've gone through it a little bit, but your overall impressions of the exact cinematic.
You go first, Scarlett.
The graphics are insane. Can we have a movie done with those same graphics? Because I would watch an animated movie like that. Or if they put those graphics in the video game, please, that would be amazing. And I would go buy a super
computer. Would never be able to run.
No, I'm getting a new computer, okay? In January, after I buy...
Scarlett, your current computer couldn't load the Battle.net app which would allow you to download Warcraft if it looked like that. Your computer couldn't handle that BattleNet
My
app.
computer can't handle the current BattleNet app. So, yeah. So, no, seriously, though, I'm getting a new computer. Anyways, that would be the reason I would buy a supercomputer, would be because of that. That would be insane.
So, to kind of go with your thoughts on how amazing it was graphically, you can see the pores in her skin. You can see the wrinkles in her skin. You can see the individual strands of hair. And this is a snapshot from the beginning of it. It looked amazing, period. I agree with you. They should do a movie or a show or something with this technology. They're far too talented to only use it for cinematics. But I would have to put WoW's cinematics up against any other game out there as being far and above the best of all of them.
Yep.
Graphically, though, I don't know if they'll ever be able to do it in the game, because we would all have to have $10,000 computers to run it when you've got 25 people plus 30 mobs all standing around at the same time running this kind of graphics. No one's computer is going to be able to handle it without melting down. But yes, I agree. Now, I will say this. My one negative thing about the actual cinematic, this was one battle. And although this was kind of a pivotal point in Anduin becoming a man, whatever, finding himself, deciding he's going to be him and not try to be his father, whatever kind of spin you want to put on this little 20-second thing that happened with him, there's not a lot of story here. It's a huge impact. It's a pivotal moment. It's an amazing battle. But there's not a lot of story. And that's the only thing that I wasn't really enthralled about. Draven?
Yeah.
Enthralled. Haha.
No, I was just debating on if I wanted to bring up what we found out was in the goodie bag before I said what I thought of the trailer there, the cinematic. Did you guys see that?
I did a little bit, but not I didn't read the whole thing.
I did not.
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil it, but there was an excerpt to the book.
Yeah, the first chapter, right?
The prologue, actually.
Okay.
And apparently, maybe that book actually takes place during the expansion and not in between. Who knows? So, my opinion on the cinematic, and if you look at my Twitter, you'll know exactly what I thought of it. Because after watching it, I was like, I started off as Horde. My current main is Alliance. Maybe it's time to go back.
No, you don't want to go back.
If you could play a real Banshee in the game, I would play Horde after watching this thing. You can't play a real Banshee?
Yeah.
But I would.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool too, but it's the Anduin thing. Okay, fine, cool, whatever. I've never cared for Anduin. This made me hate him slightly less, so instead of like a 37, it's a 34. Gan, I've never cared for. I just haven't. He looks cool, I'll give him that much, but meh. But this actually made Sylvanas look cool again. So I was like, I've been right, I've always been I'm bifactional, blah blah blah, whatever joke you want to throw there. I've played characters on both sides ever since I moved most of my characters into the CTR guild. But this made me like, I kind of want to go back Horde side and just do that. Admittedly, I'd have characters still Alliance side because freaking story.
Well, real quick, the chat's talking about that not all the races were actually there at the battle, and you're right, not all of them were there, but it wasn't just humans. There was dwarfs, and I believe I also remember seeing a night elf, archer.
Night elf archer.
There was definitely a Draenei. There was no gnomes that I saw.
Well,
there was no gnomes.
Admittedly, we only saw from like the waist up of the humans and stuff, so we might not have actually just seen the gnomes. They could have been there.
That's
we just didn't see them.
Gnome joke. Bad gnome jokes. Yeah,
But
that's the one thing I think their cinematics are really missing is the ability to do gnomes and goblins. Because you never
well,
really see goblins in them
Legion,
either.
yeah, Legion had a gnome. He was in a mech suit or whatever, and that was cool. I think it's just really hard for them to do it based on you. They wanted to make it taken seriously, and you throw a gnome in there, and people are like, gnome.
So here's a
It's
question.
not going to be taken seriously.
Helen said there was no blood elves either. What is Sylvanas like before she became Forsaken? And
I think she was
she
a
a
night
blood
elf.
or a night elf?
She was a night elf.
Okay.
But yeah, there was no blood elf. I didn't see any goblins, which
Yeah, there's no
short
goblins.
short jokes aside.
The Tauren looked
orc.
awesome, and I think there was maybe only 2 Taurens in the whole thing, but the one that was pretty much showcased looked amazing.
I saw 2 trolls, both of which died, both of which looked like Vol'jin.
Yeah, I thought for a second the one actually was going to be Vol'jin, because there was rumors from some site that said they were going to bring Vol'jin back. So the one with the mask, I literally thought probably was Vol'jin.
I think he still is coming back.
Well, that one got blown
coming
up,
back
so.
or not, like to be alive or not, who knows? But Vol'jin was named specifically for the heroes whose stories were going to be moved on, just like Sylvanas, Anduin, Gen.
Yeah, and they showed an urn, which meant he was still dead. That's not really talking about it very much. He's still dead. That was hysterical, actually. But after the cinematic, they talked a little bit more about it. One of the biggest things was the new allied races, which these are 3 of them there. Void elves, right? Is that right? Void elves?
Yep.
What are the Draenei's called?
Lightforged
Draenei, and then the Dark Iron Dwarves.
Which, once I get it unlocked, my Death Knight is going to be a Dark Iron Dwarf.
And you won't even really be able to tell. And
I basically just want the red eyes. That's where it turns into.
Which will be interesting because they always make the Death Knights have white eyes. It'll be interesting what happens. And then you have the Nightborn, the Zandalari, and the High Mountain Tauren, which I'm not a regular Horde player. I am not a regular Tauren player. But other than the horns being elk horns, is there really any difference between that High Mountain Tauren and a regular Tauren?
The shape change forms on Druid look way different. You keep the horns, which looks kind of badass.
I haven't got to check out all the panels or anything, so I haven't seen like the shape changes. Presuming they get to be druids, I would imagine.
They
like
do.
Bear form, I don't know what it looks like. Cat form,
I saw some screenshots from people playing the demos. They keep the horns in bear form. It looks kind of cool, in all honesty.
I didn't check that out.
But out of these 3, the troll one looks the best to me.
I'm tired of seeing the Nightborn, so I don't know either one of the other 2 if I really like them all that much. Trolls will always kind of look cool until you play them.
Yeah, so we have to unlock these first off before we go any further.
Well, I mean, you could race change.
No.
Not until you've unlocked them.
You have to unlock them before you have access to them.
Yes, sorry.
Then you can race change. Yeah. The outfits they're wearing are only for the characters you unlock them on. They are not account wide. It is their appearance only, which annoyed the crap out of me, but whatever.
Now, see,
but
I know you're talking about unlocking them, and that's important. But Hallen just said the Horde got the better looking races hands down. I don't know if I agree with that. I think this is something that a lot of people will be pretty opinionated on. But when I look at these, granted, Lightforged Draenei, we already see them because of Argus, so we see them all the time. Dark Iron Dwarves have, in a way, been in the game for a really long time, so we've seen them a lot. But the Void Elves, to me, because of the fact that they have basically two forms, the form that you see here, where they kind of have the weird wings, the Void Wings, is just one. The other one is a little bit more similar to like a Shadow Priest when they go full Void. I think that's an amazing skin. And I don't necessarily care that they're an elf. That doesn't bother me. But the Void Wings when you're normal and the Void form when you're not normal is awesome. And
I have a question.
yeah.
Can you have a Void Night Elf Demon Hunter? That would be hysterical.
I don't think so. There is a list of what's available for 4 out of 6 of the characters on their website. But I think that your Demon Hunters are still relegated to only your Night Elves and Blood Elves.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And there will be no Void Elf Paladins, because that would just
Be weird.
be weird.
Yeah.
They did the same thing they did before, because these are basically not sub races. These are actually additional races. Once you've unlocked them, they have their own set of classes they can be, which they said makes sense. They tried to give you all the ones that make sense so that you have plenty of choice. That came up in the Q&A as well. But if it didn't make sense, like a Void Paladin, they didn't do those.
You know what else makes sense?
What's
Since
that?
we're getting 6 new races, if we'd get more character slots on a realm.
You know, the funny thing that you should ask about that, because I actually tweeted Warcraft devs today that same question, and they didn't answer.
They did
Oh,
answer
didn't
it. They did answer
you
it
sure?
at BlizzCon.
Well, that's probably why they didn't answer me on Twitter.
Nope. It did get answered during the Q&A.
And what was their answer?
Have 6 more slots on your server.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. 6.
Our character selection screen's going to be tiny.
Now, they didn't increase the amount of characters you can have total, but you can now have 6 more on a server.
Well, honestly, I kind of feel like they should just get rid of the per server limit altogether, which this is kind of small, but Hallen just shared these with us. So this is the bear form with the antlers on it. Sorry, it's a little small. And then this is
That's what she said.
No, that's not what that's what he said. And then this is the cat, which the cat looks really weird with those horns. The bear looks cool. But anyway. So, and that was a little highlight of our Patrons Lounge, which is a chat room in our Discord that you only get to be a part of if you are a supporter of the show. So a little sneaky peek there for you. And thank you, Helen, for giving us those pictures.
Sneaky peek.
That's cool, but realistically, if you're only allowed 50 characters total per account, why even have a server limit at all?
So you don't massively kill there'd be some kind of person trolling something or other with 50 characters.
I don't know how they could.
I don't even, I'm too tired to figure that out, but somehow I think it would be trollable.
Well, I have 11 110s on Airy Peak. Draven, I know that you have more than 11 110s. They're not all on Airy Peak, but you do
I
have
have 13.
Yeah, and you do have 11 characters on Airy Peak, don't you?
I have
12.
11 on Airy Peak, 11 on another server, and like 6 on most other servers.
So, like, I get the 50 character total because you need to have some kind of cap total. I feel like they should just lift the server restriction altogether, because you're going to have a slider with, what is it now, 18 characters anyway. You're not going to be able to fit them all on one page. So there's going to have to be a slider on that character selection page anyway. So what difference does it make if it goes from 1 to 16 to 1 to 50? It doesn't matter. So I'm happy that they lifted it, because if they didn't lift it, that would mean I'd either have to delete tunes or just not play those races. But
So I think the main issue with putting them all on one server is more of a data issue. Like if everyone did one server only, all 50, you're gonna go. Let's say you go to the full population servers where you can't sign up anymore unless you already have a character there. you wouldn't be able to make new characters because they're going to run out of room. Just
I
data
don't know
wise.
if it really works that way
I
anymore.
don't know that that's accurate. That's my current in-brain hypothesis.
That is how it was for a while, but I don't think that that's accurate anymore. But we'll see. All right, so what else?
Also, WoW news that I personally didn't see, but I have seen confirmed by multiple people. Time Walking raid. They announced the next one.
What was it?
Which is for Wrath of the Lich King. And it wasn't Ice Crown.
Was it Old War?
It was Ulduar.
So there is a lot of people who have a very, very strong attachment to Old War.
Rightfully so.
I can understand that. However, I kind of feel like they should also do ICC, and then they should rotate them. Because in the whole arc of the game, ICC was one of the best raids they've ever done. Old War is right there with it, though, so I can understand. Go ahead, Scarlett.
Well, I was going to say, would that enable you to get the, what's it called, achievement, because all your gear would be scaled down?
I doubt it.
And your level, technically?
Probably not, because the actual... Well...
Maybe?
I don't know, because... I doubt. I don't think it'll be available in Time Walking.
And what is that
achievement called?
I can't remember the name of it.
Herald of the Titans.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, but I hope that they don't allow that, but it would be interesting if it is, because
I don't think
somehow
I don't think it would work, because
I think maybe if you
I
did
can
the
just
Time
see
Walking
people
and then put
clamoring.
on that gear, you could still do it. But if you wore your
if you
level
were
down
in the
gear, you
right
couldn't.
gear. My issue with how I'm thinking about it, though, is going to be in something they announced during the near the end of the Q&A, which has to do with scaling and numbers and item level squish and such. We're getting another squish.
Yes.
Not really surprising, but they're also squishing item level numbers,
Which is good. They needed to.
which is fine considering we're getting item level 1000 stuff.
yeah.
So that achievement, they're gonna have to squish. They're allowed to use. Otherwise, everything will be under it, and you're just gonna get it, even though you can just stomp it.
I'm sure they'll update it, or they'll just take the achievement out of the game and make it a feat of strength.
No, I need to level a character for that.
I mean, it's just a title, so they could. But if it had a
strength and give it a title.
if it was it is a feat of strength, but still, if it had a mount attached to it, people would riot.
Yeah.
Because they did that to Nax, and I got it the freaking day after they took it out.
Yeah, the weird thing about some of this new stuff they announced, and some of it's actually happening before, it's going to happen with 735, is that some of the scaling things are really going to change the way a lot of the things work in game, which you alluded to this a little bit, but they're also rescaling areas. So, for example, an area which was normally like a 20 to 25 area to level in will now be a 20 to 60 area to level in. So that
Which
way
I'm loving.
I like, but think about it from this standpoint. Number one, if it's 20 to 60 and you're going there specifically to get a certain item, are you still going to be able to get that certain item if you're over the level that it drops at?
So, from what I heard at the Q&A, because someone asked that exact question, because he's a gold farmer and he likes, that kind of thing. If the mob used to drop it, it still will.
But then the thing is that your gear is supposed to also level with you. It's supposed to be level appropriate gear. So say you're level 59 and you're supposed to be killing a 24 mob. Are you getting a 59 version of that 24 BOE? Or are you getting that 24 BOE? I think what's going to happen, I think what is going to happen, this is completely conjecture in my head right now. Quest gear, scalable. Dungeon gear, scalable. World drop, same as it was. I hope you're right, because that would solve a lot of issues. Alessandra says she hates it because she loves scaling zones. I want to out-level stuff. But you still will, because it's capped at 60. The difference between 110 to a 20 is the same thing as 110 to a 60. You can still basically one-shot those things if you're going in at a super high level. It's just so that way when you're doing it on the way up and you're actually leveling a new character, which a lot of people will because of these new races since they start at 20. Right now in the game, in addition to basically one-shotting everything if you have heirlooms, you, in about 5 quests, are ready to move to the next area instead of doing the other 15 that are there that finish the story for that area. And those are just round numbers. But they're trying to make it be a situation where if you want to finish that area to finish the story, you're still actually getting something for doing it.
I don't think Elwyn Forest is going to 60, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Was it? Did they say that? I thought it was just like the level 20 and up zones. Elwyn Forest is under.
They haven't gone into a whole lot of detail.
No, he did. He actually said
they mentioned a few, but they didn't go into a whole lot of detail as to every single zone, how far it's going to scale.
They didn't
like
put
it
out
might
a
be
list.
It might be like 1 to 20 for some of them, then 20 to 60 or something like that. We don't know.
The top cap is 60. So he actually said this. The top cap is 60. So, for example, Elwyn Forest, which is like 7 or 5 or something like that to start, will go to 60. And the reason is if you start a tune at level 15 and your friend wants to come help you and they're level 50, 60, whatever, they can come and it'll still give you both XP at the same time. It caps at 60 because that's the next expansion. And during the next expansion, they want you to be able to come back down and solo content easily.
Gotcha.
So when you go to the next expansions area, it will cap at the next cap. So like Hellfire Peninsula, for example, will go from 58 to 70.
But
that is incorrect.
That's what he said.
No, that's not what he said. Outlands is going to be 60 to 80.
Oh, you're right. You're right, because it's going to be 2 because they're doing Northrend and Outlands at the same. You're right. It is going to 80. So 58 to 80 for that zone. But it's also going to be 68 to 80 for Wrath of Lich King area, Northrend.
60
Playing devil's advocate, though, Alessander, I think after a while it gets absolutely mind-numbingly boring sometimes. So I think some people will enjoy that.
Well, Helen just asked the big question, though. So
well, it works the same way.
Yeah.
Did you just call Howland a her?
No, I said you can also answer her question while you answer his question.
Oh, yeah, it's the same way as the current dungeon leveling, like the holiday mounts, or bosses and invasions and whatnot. It's whatever level you are.
So in a way, though, it does mess with the old world. It's just they're doing it in a way where it hopefully has the least effect possible. So it's not necessarily scaling the mobs as much as it's scaling you to the mobs, which is very difficult to explain how that works. But yes, if you're level 20 and your buddy's level 60, it's going to be a proportionately accurate amount of damage that character does to what you do, and a proportionate amount of HP to what it should be for your level, no matter which level you are. Which is it's hard to understand without an actual example.
I've done that, Alessander, but it's still, like, there's some areas that are just painful. Like, I find Duskwoods painful. And yes, you level through it fast, but Hellfire Peninsula to Northrend is also just as painful and horrible and ugly. And so even if you outlevel it with heirlooms, it still is not as fun as you would like it to be. So if you could go to Grizzly Hills instead at level 60, that's kind of cool because that's a prettier area. And the storyline is hysterical.
Which the other thing that they did say about this whole technology piece is that we're going to see a lot of it with 7.3.5, but there's going to be more happening with 8.0 in order to fine-tune things to the way that they want it to be. So there'll be kind of a trial when 7.3.5 comes out to see what it looks like. But I imagine they'll have to, tinker with it a little bit to get it just right. So I feel for you on the whole, don't want them to change the old world stuff, but I ultimately think if they get this right, it would be good for everybody.
That's
Maybe
true.
not everybody, because I do see her point. She doesn't want it to change like that. If she wants to continue, she doesn't. XP is not her goal necessarily if she's questing in a zone. I get that point of view, but they're thinking in terms of the majority of people.
Yeah.
And Alessander, we love you. But you just have a different view on that particular thing than most people do. And there's nothing wrong with it. Play the game how you want to play. That's what we've always said. Even that's how Blizzard says it too. It's just one of those things that they are looking at it like the majority of people don't want to have to go from this zone. Oh, let's go ahead and because of, they want to see all the story if they want to see all the story, whatever. But questing was always go to this zone. Okay, now take a flight path that is pre-scripted to take you 5 zones away to do the next zone in your thing. And it's this way is just overall will be better for the majority. And yeah, the majority of people don't care about story, at least at the low levels anymore.
But I do. I do
yeah,
care about the story, but to me right now, it's boring because of the fact you only get to see a few zones. So I would level more characters easier with this new scaling tech than I would right now.
The reason this is important right now is because of the new races. And because of the fact that once you unlock them on your current mains, you have to start at level 20 unless you're going to pay for a race change. So a lot more people are going to be rolling these new tunes and leveling from 20 to whatever. Yeah. So it's important for them to semi-fix it, or you're going to have almost everyone in the game seeing how broken it is.
I have an interesting question, though. How do you guys think this will change the Iron Man challenge?
It's going to make it harder.
Significantly harder.
A lot
Significantly harder.
Yeah.
Because right now there is a 100% right way to do it. And one, it's be a pet, be a hunter or a warlock. Because pets.
Yep.
But you want to take on things that are lower level than you when you get that chance. And this is negating that.
Yep.
So.
Agreed. Yeah, it will definitely change that. But hey, you can go do that on the classic servers.
That's true.
Oh, God.
And you will die at level 7.
I mean, technically, it is going to be an Iron Man challenge because there's not going to be heirlooms or what have you there. So,
well, no, the Iron Man challenge is in grays and whites.
Well, that's true. That's
not
true.
Necessarily
I forgot about that part.
There.
But I remember when I first started in Burning Crusade, not in vanilla or classic, the starting zone, the mobs there weren't neutral. You walk near them, they started attacking you.
Yeah. There was a lot of that dangerous walking around stuff. Yeah.
So people aren't even going to get to level 7. They're going to get to level 2 and die.
I ran through wetlands as a level 3 or 4 priest that I'd only dinged from exploring on the way to Stormwind. And I think I died about 20 times from the alligators because I would be on the path and they would aggro me and come and run and kill me. And I literally would death walk close to my body and try to keep going and just get got by another alligator, if not the same one. So, and that's how it was. And honestly, I think that was the week before BC came out or the week after BC came out. So that's definitely how it's going to be a classic.
Yeah. So, getting back to the scaling thing, Alessander, I do feel bad for you because you clearly don't like this change. Eventually, you're going to get the classic server, so yay for that. But overall, I think it's a good change
if they do it right.
If done right, yeah. I mean, if they completely screw it up, then no, done. But if done right, for most characters, it's going to be good because a lot of people haven't gone back to do Lore Master if they're interested since Kata. I am one of those insane people that did it pre-Kata and post-Kata because it had achievement points attached to it.
Yeah, the one thing I'm kind of wondering though, they talked about scaling rewards. Are your gold rewards from drops going to be like you said with the BOEs where it stays low, or is that going to scale with you too?
I think the gold will scale, but I think the items are what don't.
Mm.
If I'm understanding how the phrasing was, they were kind of dodgy because they said it wasn't done and it weren't ready, but it did sound like gold would scale, but items wouldn't. But it also sounded like say that level 24 pair of shoulders you want, but you're fighting a 54 mob because that's what happened to level. You would also have the chance to get a pair of 54 shoulders. It would just be a different set.
So that was pretty much the opening ceremonies with pretty much everything covered. There was a lot of other cool things that happened though.
With some Q&A sprinklings in and stuff like that.
Absolutely, which we touched a little bit of Q&A stuff too.
And we skipped over it during Overwatch, but there was something in Overwatch, what was in the box. Did either of you guys watch this at all?
I did not. What was in the box?
You are both lucky.
Why?
The one complaint for BlizzCon I had was that panel. It was a complete waste of time. Even outside that they had an issue, something got caught up at customs or whatever. Whenever they said what was actually in the box, 100% waste of time. It was literally there to fill time. It ended up being a guy with a cardboard cutout of a spray. That's what came up at the end. And they didn't have the actual box. It was just, this is a short little itty bitty box. And when they finally said what it was, because they played this weird guessing game, guy showed up with that little kid doing the little punch spray from this opening, that first cinematic with the cast, and he just moved it off, and it was someone else. That was what it was. And I'm just like, no, there could have been so many things it could have been, and that was probably the worst thing it could have been, because it was just a complete waste of time. My one complaint for BlizzCon, outside of not being there.
You should make a what's in the box rant video all by yourself, complaining about this, and then link it to them. And the whole time that you're talking about it, you can have Brad Pitt screaming in the background, "What's in the box?"
I would go from pictures of Brad Pitt to Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Even this would have been better.
You should do that.
They did make a 7.
Is it bad that I don't really care what was in the box?
No, it was one of those things that we had done for the question for predictions. But it was a waste of time panel, 100%. And that ticked me off because I actually wanted to see something else. But because it was Overwatch and I wanted to know what was in the box, I thought it would be something cool. No, it wasn't. It was a waste of time. And when they finally got to the end of it, I was like, next. I didn't even wait for them to walk off. I was ticked.
So in addition to that, there was several moments during BlizzCon that we saw some people that we knew. One of which was during the WoW Q&A that we were talking about, when Ro was actually the first person to ask a question, which was cool.
Kind of cool.
And then also during the actual introduction, we have Ro with Thist, which Thist is making a face that almost makes it not look like Thist in this picture. But it's Thist, which was neat.
That's 100% this, and that is 100% when Ian was on stage.
Yeah,
she
was totally into what was happening on stage. Did not care that there was a camera in front of her.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think she knew.
I'm pretty sure I saw Bartholomew too.
Yes, and there was many moments. There's another one I'm gonna bring up as well, which was actually a really neat thing. Our former guild leader was on the live instance, which was very, very good. There you go, Pat Crane right in the middle with Scott Johnson, not Patrick, and what is he? He's the director, art director, something like that.
He's in charge of art.
I want to say he's art director, the game art director or something like that. And it was a really good instance show, and they did it live, and it was great. And during the time that they did it, they actually did a shout out to Chris Metzen, and I don't have the picture, but guess what? Metzen was there, fully bearded.
So, that was one of the questions for the Azeroth Roundtable prediction. Will Metzen be there?
Mm-hmm.
And I said no. So I took. Oh. But then again, everybody said no.
Yeah.
So I didn't follow up further behind or anything like that. But still.
Well, he had like a pretty scruffy beard and a hat on, but I would have recognized him. So I'm kind of wondering how many people did recognize him, or if he was pretty much kept behind security most of the time.
Probably behind
possible.
security.
Possible. But it was still neat. Did you guys see anything else like that I missed?
I have not seen from Jamie Lee Curtis's Twitter what she dressed up as yet, but I'm assuming she was there.
I was surprised that Pasha was not in the cosplay contest. I expected
Oh
her
my
to
goodness,
be there.
yeah.
'Cause,
I thought she was going to be.
so I don't know if maybe she just didn't enter the contest or maybe she didn't make the cut, but I doubt that that's the case because I saw some of the pieces of her costume and I didn't even see the full thing, but I saw the pieces of her costume and she definitely was better than at least 2/3 of the people that were in the contest.
Was it the Kill Jaden one that you saw? Because that looked badass.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That was gonna be.
I
cool.
didn't see her. You guys are saying, "Oh, Pasha, if she's in it, she's gonna win." I was like, so I was waiting for her to show up. I didn't see it.
Well, I thought she would take like second place because I was always voting for Hogger. Because I saw Hogger start from just a little itty bitty design, and then that was freaking insane.
So since we're already there, we're talking about the cosplay contest. Hogger won. Congratulations.
Hogger was awesome.
Your costume looked amazing. Next time, make it so that you can see, so that you can walk and not almost fall off the stage.
Oh man,
that was pretty funny. Watching Hardwick try to save you from falling off the stage
twice.
Yes. But I'll tell you, the awkwardness of the walking around kind of made the characters seem more realistic to me because that's how Hogger walked around in the woods.
He wouldn't have much smarts in his brain. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So that was really good.
It was really cool. I linked in our Discord the picture that Chris Hardwick actually took, where he's like, kissing Hogger.
The one where he like bit his face. It was
So so let me just say for the record that he has been the best, whatever you call it, that his position is MC
host.
Or whatever, host, in the last, since he was the last one, since he last did it.
Him and Will Wheaton. A lot of people didn't like Will Wheaton.
I didn't like Will Wheaton as much as I liked him.
I thought Hardwick did it better, but I didn't have a problem with Will Wheaton. I would be fine with Hardwick coming back because we know this is his job. He's a comedian, obviously, but he does nerd stuff all the time.
Well, he's the host of the Nerdist. Also, I'm pretty sure Geek and Sundry is related to the Nerdist or something or other. He's
this
the boss
episode is
for
not actually brought to you by Critical Role, but Scarlett is just a huge fan and will plug on it every chance she gets, even if it doesn't apply.
Yes. But it somehow does apply somehow, something or other. They work in the same building. Let's just say that. I know that.
They have a good working relationship. I know that. Beyond that, I don't know.
Well, in the guys' one shot where they were playing Vampire the Masquerade, I know Chris Hardwick was like dead or a zombie or something because he was in the building. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. He was just a really good host.
Are you done? It's Critical Role.
Possibly.
I kind of tuned out for a second.
You really should watch Critical Role.
By the way, this is one of Pasha's cosplays.
That is a cool one. She won, I think, an award for that, didn't she?
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, she won something. Apparently, she did the market. Nope, that's not her. The Prophet was very good.
Yes.
From the cosplay thing. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. I thought the top four all deserve to be in the top four. Maybe not necessarily in the order, but I was completely happy with, Hogger being the winner. The music competition, I was not happy about.
Why?
The winner, I was fine with him winning. I didn't agree, but I understood it. But the one who won last year with the hero song, this year was an ode to Blizzard or whatever. It was the girl with the banjo and the guy in the.
I love those two.
I thought that it should have been if they didn't win, then the guy who won should have won. So I thought they should be second. No, they got third. And the way, I don't know. I didn't really care for the hip hop song at all.
The hip hop song was the best. It was the ska that I hated.
I didn't really like either one, I'll be honest.
We totally have opposite tastes on everything.
No, I'm sorry. Jay the Bard, Jay the Tavern Bard was by far the best of all of the music. And if Blizzard does not make a Jay the Tavern Bard in game, they are messing up.
So, like I said, I was fine with him winning. But if he wasn't if he didn't win, they're called score lock, by the way. They should have won. But no, they got third. I was not happy with second through fourth. I was fine with him winning.
All right.
I don't know what to say.
The videos were meh. The one that actually won the art contest. Oh, thanks for the follow. The one that actually won the art contest, I wasn't super keen on, but the two that were second and third place were both great. Second place was amazing. So yeah, I don't know.
I understood for the videos I understand why the one that won actually won, because they actually used CGI.
Yeah. So
while it was silly, they actually had, for limited budget, decent CGI in it.
This is how I feel about the videos. We are Epic Fail for a reason. If your video couldn't beat something that we could do, then I don't think you should win a contest like that. I'm just saying. So I'll leave that there. And I'm not saying that we're good. That's why we're called Epic Fail. But, yeah.
I may or may not be working on a script that I might need you guys' help for next year.
If I have to rap, no, thank you.
No. It literally would be your characters in game, because it would be 100% in-game footage.
Okay.
All right. So what else? What else we want to talk about?
Well, it was the esports Mecca weekend, not just for Blizzard, but we're going to talk about Blizzard and not the other games that had some really interesting things happen.
I didn't actually know the ending of any esports because I worked all day today and I got home at an hour.
I was hoping
before
you
the
would know
podcast.
Hearthstone.
No, because it wasn't the world tournament.
And I'm gonna have to tell you too. I don't really know much about esports either because I missed most of them because I was watching most day one stuff today.
Can we do esports when we've seen them?
Well, look, I was hoping we'd just at least name who won.
If you know who won, name them.
Yeah. So
Scarlet,
Overwatch.
plug yours.
Yeah, Overwatch. Korea won, which is a surprise to no one at all.
How far did US get?
They got to fight Korea the opening round.
That's not very far.
But they did do a better job. They did do a better job than a lot of people, myself included, were expecting. Heroes, it came down to the two people that everyone figured was going to be, Fnatic versus MVP Black. And I was rooting for Fnatic, but kind of figured MVP Black was going to win, and they won 3-1. So far, Korea is 2-0. I don't know who won Hearthstone.
They didn't have the World Series.
I wasn't saying that, Scarlett. I was saying they had a tournament thingy there.
Yeah.
I don't know who won that tournament.
It was a friendly challenge.
Well, whatever.
And
it was still a tournament.
Who won it?
It was teams. I don't know who won it. I still don't know, but I'm just saying it was just friendly challenges.
And then
Ben Brode won Hearthstone.
That is true.
The Kobolds won.
He was actually one of the questions on the game was what's the cutest card in Hearthstone, and they polled people on Twitter before to get these responses. Ben Brode was actually an answer, and he started laughing.
For Alessander, StarCraft, The finals were down to someone named Rogue versus someone named So I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry. SOO. Maybe it is the letters themselves. I don't remember. But Rogue beat him, and then Warcraft, the arena was
How did
not
Neeb do?
not very well.
Yeah.
Sadly, he didn't have it this year or this tournament. Yeah,
that's a bummer.
And then
all right.
There was a chance of method versus method in the finals for WoW Arena.
Synergy and which one?
I forget the other method team.
Okay.
But the team ABC beat method. So method didn't win again.
Well, they're there.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
Where's
ABC from?
Somewhere in Europe, I believe.
Yeah, I will probably
honestly
spend most of my day tomorrow catching up on at least the finals of most of them.
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch any of Hearthstone, any of WoW. I didn't watch a whole lot of the esports. I was too busy watching the panels because I wanted to be prepared for this. Like I knew names, some of them, but.
So one of the panels I watched, since we're talking about extra stuff now, SOO rhymes with do. So it's Sue. Okay. So one of the panels I was watching was the voice actor panel. And they had a bunch of good people on it, including Doomfist.
Two of them.
Doomfist was there for the one that I was watching.
Okay, the Overwatch panel. Okay.
Yep. And he actually talked a little bit, and I got to say that I'm a little impressed with the guy. I still kind of wish it was Terry Crews, but the guy they picked is good. I just think he should have been a different character. And Terry Crews should have been.
Did you watch
Doomfist.
the whole thing?
Yes, I did.
So you saw how the panel ended?
Yes, I did, and it was good.
With the fan.
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to spoil it. I'm sorry. There was a fan who 3D printed Doomfist's shoulder and arm gauntlet fist. He didn't get to ask a question because they ran out of time, but they made sure they pulled him up on stage. They got a picture. They got the voice actor to put the fist on, and they got another picture. But
that's cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. His sit down line was impressive, because they had them all do their lines, throughout, the thing, and then they did like a down the line, 5 lines, and it was pretty good. It was interesting how diverse not just the characters are, but the voice actors are. They were very authentic-ish with their voice actors, which I thought was cool.
I know it was the person who voiced Farah. It's her first Comic-Con ever. She's never done like
her first
geeky voice.
Her first con ever, not her first Comic-Con ever.
Exactly. Yes. She's never done any like geeky stuff, and Overwatch was her first time doing geeky voiceovers and stuff. So I saw on her Twitter that she was like super nervous about going to BlizzCon.
So I have a question for Draven. When they came right out and said Jaina is not a Dreadlord at the beginning, did you cry a little?
No. I
even put a creepy like Jaina picture to try to make you feel better over there on the other side of chat. It's not a Dreadlord, but it's creepy Jaina. No.
So because we didn't get to see her this expansion, I pretty much gave up on her being a Dreadlord. It was a meme, and I know it, but I was having fun with it. I've moved on to Jaina is a servant of the old gods, and I'm hoping that's accurate. I'm perfectly fine with redeeming her, but I would much rather kill her in the next expansion.
She's just conflicted.
So they say.
Yeah. Okay. Any other things you want to highlight?
Well, I know Scarlett's going to want to plug the Geek and Sundry panel.
So I haven't watched it yet because it wasn't available on VOD yesterday, and I had to work all day today, so I haven't watched it yet.
I'm picking
But
on you.
Taliesin was there, and he's from Critical Role. And
Allison.
on the WoW voice actor stage, they had, I can't think of names right now. I am so
She
exhausted.
actually voices Jaina. It's Laura Bailey,
Yes,
also on
thank
Critical
you.
Role. Matt
Exactly.
Mercer was on the Geek and Sundry. He does McCree and a whole lot of orcs and stuff.
And he sang for
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
But guys, what about all that Diablo news? As I just spoke for Howland.
They already said there wasn't going to be any
So-
Diablo news.
Yeah, but I said they were still going to say something, and I don't think they said a damn thing.
They didn't say
I
a
think
thing.
there was literally one sentence where they said something about Diablo in the very, very beginning.
I think they
Of
literally
open
mentioned
ceremony.
the Necromancer. Like
Yes.
this year, the Necromancer came out.
That was
and
pretty
was
much it. That was like the one sentence. Yeah.
But there is Diablo news. Starting on Tuesday, there is a goblin event. So every time you run into a trader goblin, you run into a whole bunch of them. Also, did you know that you can get not a battle pet, but a pet in Diablo, and it's like a little girl, and she's creepy, and she's got a knife, and she's a vampire? Because that's really
Yes.
freaky.
Is her name Draven?
No. I am not a little girl. I might be creepy and I might
Your
I might
inner
have a
demon
knife.
might
but
be. You never know, man.
That's true.
You're not getting me in pigtails. I don't care how many times and how many different ways you ask.
I'll figure it out. I'm still trying, chat. Still trying.
All right. So, did anything else out of all of BlizzCon panels or anything? Did anything else like stand out to you guys? Like, all that was pretty cool.
The virtual ticket, it worked better this year. It's still not perfect.
For most people,
I still had times where it buffered and stuff and whatnot, but I don't know if that was actually them or me or whatever. So but the way it was laid out was good. However, panels which had just ended were not immediately available to watch. If they were still going, you could back up the little slider and start it from the beginning. But as soon as that panel had finished and they were no longer airing it, it took a little while before I was able to watch it.
Yeah, same thing for me.
So it was better than last year, but still not perfect, is what I would say.
still got a little bit, but it was definitely a massive improvement.
Yeah. Also, the shop availability of stuff
Crashed.
today was, well, it crashed the other day too, but the availability of stuff today for the few things that I was interested in was pretty much non-existent, which I guess that's to be expected, but buy more is what I would say to that. Blizzard people want the stuff. And I am super disappointed that there wasn't more Overwatch League gear
In the shop?
anywhere. They announced all these new teams, but you can't buy
I
any of
was
the stuff.
surprised. I was kind of surprised. Like if I was a betting man, I would put money that they would have had it there because it would have freaking made sense.
They would have sold
But-
thousands of shirts.
But at the same time, those teams weren't representing themselves at the con. It was like the Olympic version. It was countries and not actual teams.
I get
So
that.
it made
but
sense that it wasn't there. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing it pop up next month when they do their preseason.
I get what you're saying. They were celebrating the countries that were there, and that makes total sense. And that would even make more sense if there was actually country gear that you could buy for the Overwatch teams that were there, which there wasn't. But they are the makers of Overwatch. It is their league. It is up to them to hype it up. It totally does not make sense to have that many people there to watch competitive Overwatch when you're about to launch a league and you've just announced multiple teams and you have nothing for people to buy in order to help advertise your brand new league and teams. I'm sorry, it just that's a huge failure on someone's part.
Like I said, I think it was more of a being respectful to the teams that were there and not the quote unquote pro teams, because not all those people are the same people. That being said, if I was a betting man, I would have put money down that there would have been Overwatch League merch there because, yeah, they would have sold a lot of it.
Howland said they could be still in talks for the merch, which is probably a really good point.
Although I can understand that, the people who make those decisions, at least initially, is Blizzard.
Like I said, I'm thinking probably when the preseason starts next month, like almost literally a month tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm not even saying they needed to have jacket and shirt and tie and all the. No, one T-shirt, one hat for each team. That's all they needed, and they'd have sold thousands of them.
Yeah, I think when it hits preseason wise, that's when all the merch is gonna come out. Like they were just saving it. I don't know why they didn't put it out at BlizzCon, but maybe it was a space thing. Who knows?
They had a panel that was all about Overwatch League. So,
which I did not watch because I was busy with other things.
I didn't watch it either because I wasn't watching at the time, and I haven't gone back and watched everything that happened today. But I still, even though Hallen may have a lot of truth to his statement, I still feel like they failed somewhere. They could have done something. I mean, even last year they had Overwatch League shirts that didn't have a team on them.
But that is different because it's literally that is 100% all Blizzard stuff.
But they didn't have them this year.
No, why would they?
Because it's about to launch. Have a new Overwatch League shirt.
Fair enough. But I mean, it's literally the Overwatch League logo, and that's it. They're different colors, maybe, but
yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, it's the same shirt.
I mean, they could have done all kinds of stuff with it. I just feel like they missed it. You're probably right. They probably have something set to be some big freaking deal where they'll advertise the hell out of it, and it'll be a whole new Overwatch League shop, and they'll make a big deal about it later. I just think they should have done it now.
Chat room is saying there is Overwatch League merch in the store.
It may be in the main store. It was not in the BlizzCon store.
Well, why? Yeah, it's not going to be. Overwatch League wasn't at BlizzCon, so why would it be in the BlizzCon?
It was at store. BlizzCon. They had panels about it at BlizzCon. They didn't compete at BlizzCon yet, but they had panels or panel at BlizzCon.
I think at this point it's tomato. We're saying the same thing, just dancing around each other.
We did talk about pirates. We did not talk about Warfronts, but we talked about pirates as a what we thought was coming thing. Warfronts to me are a scary idea that I think is going to get cut.
I think
from what I've heard, it's almost they're almost ready.
Warfronts is literally, I don't know how you guys don't realize this. It's Broken Shore 2.0. You go build your resources into different buildings that are up for a few days and then they go bye-bye.
But there's actually there's a like battle happening for like an hour and a half ish. They said longer than a dungeon, but they're not sure how long.
Imagine it's like, when you end the Death Knight starting zone, I imagine it's going to be something like that, along with the fact that what's available and what helps you and what tries to hurt you depends on what buildings are up, etc.
So I think my understanding of it, and they haven't nailed anything down. This is all in my head again. It's either going to be every few days or once a week, just like Greater Invasions at this point over on Argus. You can do them once a week. You go in and it's a high res, you're in the game, old school RTS where you go get your resources. You're the peon for a little while and all that. You build your resources, all that, and you build the things, you get the army, and you go and you take over. You do that once every few days, once a week maybe. I don't think it's going to be a nonstop thing. And it's basically there's a 3-man version and apparently there's a 20-man version, which is going to be the harder one, obviously.
Yeah, I honestly don't like the idea of the Warfronts. To me, a Warfront should be a PvP thing, and it
sounds like it could be interesting. It sounds like it could be interesting. I don't think it's going to be cut from the sounds of it. It sounds like they're just working on balance stuff at the moment.
That may be wishful thinking on my part more than realism, because it just doesn't sound compelling enough for me to do more than once.
And you never know. I mean, there are some things that I didn't think I would enjoy that I've kept doing. And there's things that I like doing dungeons, but I've stopped doing dungeons outside of the occasional, it's Mythic Week? Okay. Or every now and then a guildie will be like, hey, I'm going to run a Mythic. You want to come? Fine, okay. you know, that kind of thing. So it's just one of those things where it doesn't sound appealing to you right now, but when you get in there, you might actually think it's great. Not saying you will. You might hate it, but that's the thing about the game. Play what you want, how you want. Sometimes you gotta run Maw of Souls 9 billion times for AP before they fix it.
I still like Maw of Souls better than all the other ones. Anyway.
I was just saying because the number and
I know.
AP.
After running it thousands of times, I still like Maw of Souls better than all the rest of them.
I'm not sure which dungeon I like more than any other, to be honest. I like that it's the short one.
All right. Have we reached close to the end here? Is there anything else?
I mean, I got nothing.
Scarlet?
Overall rating of BlizzCon, if you don't have anything else you want to point out. Scale of 1 to 10.
It was a 10. It was good.
Gary, so far out of what you've seen.
I think I would give it a 9. Maybe 8.5. But leaning towards a 9.
I would give it about a 9 or a 9.5, if not for that Overwatch loot box panel. I'm taking way too many points off for it. I'm going to give it an 8. Like I'm taking huge points off of it. If that panel didn't even exist, it would have been a much better BlizzCon. That one panel just ticked me off that much.
There were many parts of it that, like the community interaction and including things like the instance and Pat Crane with them for CTR and the Allcraft thing, which I haven't watched yet, that I want to watch, and having Sloop Bag up there for the panel where they were creating a new boss. The community involvement this year was off the charts, and that pushes it up really, really high. The only reason that I give them anything negative were for the things that I talked about, where it seems like there were some missed opportunities here and there, and some of the things that they're doing with WoW, I question a little. But that's, like you said, I don't play the game the same way that other people play. And I would like a little bit more story. But that's coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I would like more story. I have my questions on some of the WoW stuff coming. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be amazing, or this thing's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna wait and see on it before I make my decision there. The only real negative thing outside of some missed opportunities, like you pointed out, was that one freaking panel. And
I think we figured out the name of the show, or the under
that one freaking panel.
The What's in the Box panel, or something to that effect.
Just put the show title "What's in the Box."
it's gonna be Screw Your Box.
Duh.
I don't think you should call it that. That may land us with a mature rating. I don't think you should do that one.
I was making a joke, but that's my impression of that panel. Like, it would have been fine if it would have been something cool. It was silly, and it was fine, but just building it up, and they took viewer questions for it, and some of the ideas were actually cool. And then when they got to the end, it just completely just face planted into a brick wall.
If we hadn't already figured out the What's in the Box type show title, What Did Jaina Do Last Summer could have definitely been a good show title, because I want to know what Jaina did last summer too, why she's calmed down, why she's not quite as pissed off as she used to be. Hopefully that part of the story will be told to us, Alessander, but I'm with you. I think they're just going to let it be. Maybe it'll be in the book. I hope it's in the book, and it needs to be an audio book, because I don't want to kill trees. And wow, she didn't even say anything. She just smiled. All right, so
I'm not getting into that one.
you guys want to do some shout outs? So I'm going to guess that we're going to hear something about Geek and Sundry. Go ahead, Scarlett, you're first.
I mean, you just did it. I wasn't going to mention it, actually, but sure. Shout out to all the awesome people that cross over between genres and stuff. No, honestly, shout outs to all the people, the casters that we like to watch on Twitch and all that, who were part of the BlizzCon. Day 9 was awesome, you know. But just in general, all the guildies who got to go to the CTR event and all that, shout out to all the guildies. And I hope everyone had fun.
Okay, Draven. And you can't say anything about the box.
I wasn't going to. I'm not going to shout out to that. My shout out is to all the first time goers who had fun, anyone who helped put it together, because these things they're not easy to put together. So all that fun stuff. Right until you said that theory, I had something very specific in mind, and it just completely ruined it.
Perfect.
So
that means I did a good job. I appreciate the valuable, positive, specific feedback, and I will continue to try to work that into my repertoire every week. Shout outs for me. I'm going to shout out everyone that makes things like the virtual ticket possible for those of us who really wanted to go and then couldn't go for whatever the reasons are, including people who stream things like the CTR party and the Wowhead party and all the other streams that were going on. Thank you for allowing us, people who are part of the community in some form or fashion, a way to see what's happening there when we couldn't go.
I remember. Shout out to Cuddles and Turarts for the CTR party stream. Despite tech issues, they managed to keep it fun and entertaining as much as they could.
Very cool.
Yay.
And special shout out to Gizmo for fixing the audio issue that was there for the first hour.
So the Wowhead party had a terrible audio problem where the music was so loud it was distorting. Is that similar to what the CTR party problem was?
No, they had an issue where Cuddles doesn't use a Mac ever, and he couldn't get the microphones to work in the Mac, so it was actually using the laptop that they were using. The mic in that was what was catching the audio. Their actual microphones weren't working, and it took them about an hour to fix it, because he's like, no, it's not that. And then he started tapping the actual microphones, and I'm not getting any response. So he finally realized what it was, and then they finally fixed it. It was amusing, but when they finally fixed it, it was great. Coltrane showed up shortly after. Laura was there. Cuddles asked Laura if he would be willing to perm his hair.
And what was his answer?
I didn't think he was actually going to ask it, and then he did. And Laura just was like, no. Which,
I think it was Celestal on like color part of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
put like a purple stripe in his man.
No, it wasn't.
Awesome.
It was Cuddles wants Laura to perm Cuddles' hair.
Oh, to perm Cuddles' hair.
Yeah. And Laura said, I think it was because he didn't want to be responsible for someone else's head. Like if he did it wrong, his hair could fall out or something like that.
That sounds like something Laura would say.
Yeah, he just was like,
it's true.
No.
Yes, it is. Trust me. I've done lots of things to my hair. Perm solution can literally fry your hair off.
Okay.
Can burn your scalp.
Yeah, but I'm saying Laura was like, no. I wasn't saying no, that can't happen. I was saying that's the word he said when he answered. He was like, no.
Gotcha.
So there was one other thing that was in the notes that I no longer have pulled up. So I'm hoping one of you do, which was from one of our viewers, Draven.
So we actually got a thing from, basically it was Alessander, who sends us stuff all the time and we don't always use it. But I actually do see it a lot more often than Theory thinks I do. And she was just going on and on, all this gushy stuff about how she loves how scaling's going to happen. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
I thought you would get a kick out of that. Let me post it here so you can actually see it. She was loving Anduin. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to read it word for word because it's a bit. Reinhardt, Alex Raza and Hanzo. Where were the Blood Elves defending, Sylvanas, that kind of thing. Sylvanas is going crazier, which
I don't really
how
know
would you
is she really going
how could you
crazier?
tell? How could you? I mean, if she was going crazier, how would you tell?
I will say that the little snicker smile that she let off at the end once Anduin did his power word barrier or whatever the hell it was, I still want to call it a mass battle res. She had the little, like, oh, all right, it's on, going, which I appreciated that. I don't know if that's crazier, though. She's always been crazy.
Yeah.
However, her for the Horde call, that, like, I don't play Horde very often. I have Hordes, but I don't play them very often, and I got chills for her for the Horde call. And that, so, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but in all seriousness,
who's the voice actress for Sylvanas?
She was on the Warcraft panel, but I don't remember her name. But she was, if you watch the Warcraft voice actor panel, she's there.
I'll make sure that I watch it. I haven't watched it yet. All right.
One spoiler for that, at the end of it, they got her to do For the Horde.
Did she?
Yelling.
Did they put the freaking reverb and all the effects on it that were in the video? Because they should have.
No, but it sounded amazing, like really close to it still.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Like, there's not a whole lot of reverb in the actual voice. That is her voice doing it. She sounds like that.
Well, so if you would like to contact us with your thoughts or questions or comments or stuff that you want us to talk about on the air, you can do that. We're going to show you how right now. So at Epic Fail Podcast, we do love it when you contact us. So here's the ways that you can do that. We are at www.epicfailpodcast.com. On Facebook, you can find us at /podcastepicfail. Twitter is at podcastepicfail. You can follow Draven at Draven Dresden on Twitter. You can follow Scarlett at Scarlett_CTR. And you can follow me, Theory, at Gank Theory, also on Twitter. Don't forget, you can find our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. We look forward to hearing from you. All right. Have we reached that time?
All right, all right, all right.
That was creepy. Don't ever do that again.
Okay,
All right.
I'll make sure to do it again.
Do we have any last words?
Hugger.
Okay, bye. Hello, mother.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.